You believe you are listening to this, but half of you has already wandered away. One part hears these words, another checks the clock, another rehearses what you will do after this ends. Already you are divided, but not in the right way. You imagine you chose to be here with full intention. I tell you, a sequence of accidents brought you, and now the same accidents are trying to carry you past this moment without leaving a trace. Right now, see this. Do not hurry to agree or disagree. Just notice you do not command your attention. Your attention commands you. Feel the weight of your body where it sits or lies. Do not move. Simply notice the pressure of your back, your legs, your feet. At the same time, hear these words, two things together, outer sound, inner sensation. For a brief instant, something more real appears between them. That small something is what you have been missing all your life. You are accustomed to think of yourself as one, as a single solid I. You say, I want, I decide, I promise. But observe carefully, the one who decides is never the one who remembers the decision. This morning you said, I will not waste time today, and tonight another I will say, just a little distraction. Which one is you? They borrow the same name, but they are strangers to each other, pushing and pulling inside the same skin. You are a house occupied by many tenants. They quarrel using your voice. They make commitments using your name. And you, the true owner, are absent, lost in a kind of waking sleep. Consider your day. How much did you truly do, and how much simply happened through you? You reached for your phone without deciding. You reacted to a message without choosing your state. You ate not because you were hungry, but because an image, a smell, a mood moved you. Your body, your emotions, your thoughts, each is like a horse pulling in its own direction. And while the coachman is asleep, the reins fall into the ground. In such a state, what freedom can there be? Right now, do a small thing. Bring your attention to your jaw. Do not change anything. Do not relax it. Do not adjust it. Just see, is there tension? Are the teeth lightly pressed, the tongue pressed to the roof of the mouth? You did not choose this. It is simply there. For years, perhaps, your jaw has worked like this, consuming your energy minute after minute. You say, I am tired. But you do not see how many such small thieves are at work in you. This is the first rude truth. You are not one, and you are not awake. You are a machine that has learned to say, I. The machine can be refined, harmonized, filled with a different kind of energy, but only if it first sees itself as it is. No comforting story, no sweet slogan will change this. Before any talk of higher states, before any spiritual light, must come the simple, unflattering recognition, I am asleep and my life runs mechanically. Maybe this offends you. Good. Offense is at least a sign that something in you has been touched. But do not waste time defending your imaginary unity. Instead, begin to collect facts. Facts about yourself. Not opinions, not theories, not accusations. Facts. If you only feel the gap between what you are and what you wish to be and do nothing, you will become bitter or depressed. Many sensitive people suffer this. They see more but act no differently. The load of unfulfilled seeing becomes too heavy. So alongside the awakening of conscience, there must be action. Not grand actions, not heroic sacrifices you can show to others, but small, precise efforts you make in secret. Here we come to two ideas, conscious labor and voluntary suffering. Conscious labor is doing what you are already doing, but with divided attention, with presence. It is not necessarily more work in the external sense, but a different quality of work inside. Voluntary suffering is accepting the inner friction that arises when you go against your mechanical habits. Imagine you decide for one day to speak a little less, not to become silent, not to play saint, but to remove 10 unnecessary comments you would normally make. Each time the impulse to speak arises, you notice it, experience its tension, and deliberately stay quiet. This will not feel pleasant. You will feel heat inside, discomfort, a pressure to release that energy through words. If you bear this pressure consciously, without resentment, you are experiencing voluntary suffering. You are burning a little of your mechanicalness in the fire of awareness. Or imagine you usually rush your morning, thinking of the day's problems while dressing, eating, moving automatically. One day you decide to treat the first 10 minutes as an exercise. You move slowly, feeling your body, watching your thoughts, listening to sounds, no phone, no race, only attentive action. This is conscious labor. You are not doing anything extraordinary from the outside. You are dressing, washing, eating like anyone else. But inwardly, you are practicing another octave of being. Such efforts will often feel pointless to the part of you that wants immediate results. It will ask, what's the use? How does this make me more enlightened, more powerful, more peaceful? It cannot see that you are building invisible muscles, weaving threads of a new inner fabric. These threads are not yet a garment, but without them, nothing can be woven. Right now, try a small experiment in conscious labor. Whatever position you are in, adjust your spine so it is neither rigid nor collapsed, simply upright, as though you respect your own presence enough to sit or stand straight. Now, for a short while, maintain this posture with awareness. Feel the effort of the muscles supporting you. At the same time, notice your inner state, any resistance, boredom, agreement. Continue listening from this posture, not in your usual slump. You will see how quickly you forget and collapse back. Or you will see another tendency to make yourself unnaturally rigid, trying to do it right. Both extremes belong to the machine. Conscious labor is quiet, steady, free of the drama of success and failure. You do what you can, you observe, you begin again. Voluntary suffering is not the search for pain. Life will bring you plenty without your help. It is the willingness to remain present in discomfort instead of running away. To feel hunger for a short time without immediately answering it, to receive a criticism without rushing to defend yourself, to hold a posture for a little longer than is comfortable, to keep an inner promise when every part of you wants to break it. You already suffer, but mechanically, in frustration, resentment, jealousy, fear. Voluntary suffering transforms the same energy. It gives meaning to pain by using it to sharpen awareness and strengthen being. It is the difference between being pushed by a storm and leaning into the wind by choice, using it to build your muscles. There is a certain dignity in this. When you accept a small discomfort for the sake of self-remembering, you step out of the role of victim. You stop complaining that life is hard and begin to use life as material. Everything becomes food, pleasant and unpleasant situations, praise and blame, success and failure. All can be digested by the work if you bring attention and intention to them. To relate this to the notes, your usual suffering keeps you at the lowest levels, repeating the same coarse melody. Conscious labor begins to refine the first notes, lifting do to re through effort. Voluntary suffering helps you cross from me to fa, where the energies of the centers start to harmonize. Each conscious acceptance of friction adds a drop of finer substance to your being. The difficulty is that you forget your aim. You feel a surge of wish while listening to this, maybe even a kind of enthusiasm. You say inwardly, yes, I will work, I will observe, I will remember myself. Then life comes, a message, a noise, a responsibility, a familiar irritation. The wish fades. You are back in sleep, chasing or fleeing the next stimulus. This is why more is needed than a vague desire to wake up. You need a clear, specific aim that can be remembered in the midst of activity, not an abstract aim like enlightenment, which belongs to imagination, but something practical. Today I will notice my posture, or while I eat I will be present, or I will not raise my voice. Such aims create friction with your mechanical tendencies. That friction is your laboratory. Right now, choose something very small as a beginning, not for your whole life, not forever, for the coming hours. Perhaps, whenever I open a door, I will remember myself. So every time your hand touches a handle, a knob, a frame, let it be a reminder. Feel the body, feel the breath, briefly taste I am. Or choose, each time I look at a screen, I will first feel my feet on the ground. These are not magical rituals. They are simple anchors to bring consciousness into habitual movements. Of course, you will forget. Do not be surprised when you suddenly realize hours later, I have not remembered once. Do not call this failure. Use that realization itself as a moment of remembering. Right then where you are, feel your body, your jaw, your chest. See your state. Begin again. Slowly, with repetition, your instrument begins to acquire a new tuning. The body becomes more available, less numb. The feelings become more truthful, less theatrical. The thoughts become more obedient, less scattered. You start to hear faintly a different music in yourself, more ordered, more vertical. The notes rise and fall with less waste, less leak. None of this is spectacular. You will not glow in the dark, walk on water, or attract universal admiration. From the outside, you will look very ordinary. The change is inner, a thicker, more stable sense of presence, a more honest relationship with yourself, a growing capacity to remain awake for slightly longer periods. And yet even this modest change is already a revolution compared to your former life. You begin to see that most of the world lives and dies without ever suspecting the possibility of such inner work. People chase pleasures, beliefs, identities, thinking that these will free them from their unease. They compete, confess, argue, decorate their prisons. You too have done the same, but once you have tasted even a little of self-remembering, something in you can no longer be completely satisfied with the old ways. Do not imagine this makes you special. If you use the work to feel superior, you have lost it immediately. Pride is just another form of sleep. The only real privilege is the chance to see more clearly and to work more consciously. This brings responsibility, not self-importance. So we return again to the simplest of things. Feel your body now, not in pieces, but as one field of sensation. Let this field include the weight of the head, the line of the spine, the contact points with the surface supporting you. Notice the breath moving in this field. Notice any emotional tone in the background. Notice the movements of thought. And in the middle of all this, very quietly, stand as the one who sees. This is not yet a stable state. It flickers, breaks, returns. But every time it appears, even briefly, another note is struck in you, a note from a higher octave calling you upward. You can choose to hear it, to answer it with effort, or you can turn up the noise of your mechanical life to drown it out. No one can make this choice for you. No teacher, no book, no teaching can work in you without your participation. There is no outer savior that will do the work of inner attention in your place. Help can come, influence can come, shocks can come. But the act of remembering yourself, of observing without lying, of accepting friction voluntarily, this must be yours. You may dream of a final state where all this effort is no longer needed, where you float peacefully in some permanent light. This is another fantasy. As long as you inhabit a human organism with its three centers, its habits, its environment, work is needed. The form may change, the quality may become more subtle and joyful, but the principle remains: conscious labor instead of mechanical drifting, voluntary suffering instead of unconscious complaining. If this sounds heavy, it is only because sleep still whispers that real life must be easy and comfortable. But you may notice that your current way of living is not so easy, not so comfortable. It contains a great deal of suffering already, only it is useless suffering leading nowhere. The work does not add suffering, it redeems it. It builds a bridge from the pain of seeing yourself as you are to the possibility of becoming something more. So as you leave this moment and return to your ordinary activities, remember one simple thing: every small act of presence is a note. Every time you remember your body, every time you see a reaction instead of being it, every time you accept a discomfort consciously instead of fleeing, you strike one of the 7 notes that begin to unlock hidden centers in you. You will forget this, of course, but forgetting is not the end. Noticing that you have forgotten is already the beginning of remembering. From that point, the work continues, not once, not twice, but many times, quietly, invisibly, in the midst of your very ordinary life. You believe you have heard something by now, but much of you has only drifted in and out, catching fragments, losing them, regaining a thread, then falling again into the rhythm of your familiar thinking. This drifting is normal for the beginning, But to go further, something in you must become steadier, not harder, not more forceful, steadier. Imagine holding a small flame cupped in your hands while walking through wind, too tight and you smother it, too loose and it blows out. To protect that flame, you must learn a certain inner posture, a posture of attention that does not clamp down, does not float away, but quietly holds. Now let us step deeper into the territory that most people never even suspect exists within them. The body you inhabit is not merely flesh and nerves. It is an instrument built to receive and transmit finer forces. But for most of your life, these forces pass through you unused, wasted like electricity in a broken wire. You live on the energy of food, air, impressions, but you transform almost none of it consciously. Sacred dances were created for this reason, not as performances, not as aesthetic curiosities, but as precise machines of inner alchemy. Every gesture, every step, every angle exists to coordinate the centers, to tune the instrument, to store the energies that leak through your habitual tensions and emotional storms. You cannot practice these movements now in their form, but you can taste the principle behind them. The body must be moved with awareness, otherwise it becomes a puppet of sensation and habit. Right now, without standing or performing anything outwardly visible, imagine your body as an ensemble of lines, angles, tensions. Let your attention travel through the shape of your entire posture. Notice where you have collapsed inward, where you are held too tightly, where there is unconscious gripping. Do not fix anything, just see. The seeing is already a kind of inner movement. And now add something more. Imagine that each breath traces a small geometric pattern inside you, not imagined visually, but sensed in the way the chest expands, the spine subtly shifts, the ribs open. These micro movements are the alphabet of sacred movement. If you can observe them without interfering, without forcing, they begin to reveal a law. Nothing in you moves alone. Every part is connected. A shift in your breath alters the emotional tone. A change in posture affects your thoughts. A focus of attention changes the entire inner music. For a moment, broaden your attention. Feel the whole body as a moving shape, even if it is still. At the same time, listen to the sound in the room, this voice, ambient noises, silence between the words. And at the same time, be aware of the emotional undercurrent. 3 centers again, moving, thinking, feeling, aligned in one act of attention. This simple balancing is the essence of the movements. They were created not to impress audiences, but to awaken a dormant circuitry inside you, connections between centers that rarely communicate except chaotically. Now realize something. The movements were never intended as mere physical exercises. They are diagrams of a cosmic order expressed through the human body. Each pattern repeats a law. Each sequence reflects a principle. One gesture embodies the law of 3. 3 forces necessary for creation, active, passive, neutralizing, moving simultaneously through the limbs. Another encodes the law of 7, the uneven, nonlinear sequence through which energies evolve, requiring shocks at specific intervals to proceed. These laws operate in your body, your emotions, your thoughts, your relationships, your failures, your successes. You do not escape these laws by ignoring them. You simply suffer them mechanically. Understanding this intellectually is nothing. Feeling it in the muscles, in the breath, in the rhythm of your attention, that is another matter. Right now, sense the entire left side of your body, then sense the entire right side. Notice the difference. One side may feel heavier, warmer, more alive. Already you are beginning to see the asymmetry in your instrument. Sacred movements aim to correct such imbalances, to bring the whole organism into a vertical alignment that can achieve higher vibrations. You do not need to perform elaborate postures now. Instead, do this. Imagine that each sensation in your body, from your feet to your head, is a note being played. Observe which notes are dead, which are sharp, which are flat. This inner listening is the foundation of movement. If you can develop this sensitivity, even your ordinary walking can become an act of conscious labor, a small rehearsal of harmony. But even harmony is not the end. There must be aim. Without aim, your efforts scatter like seeds thrown on asphalt. You must choose a direction inside yourself that can gather the energies produced by self-observation and voluntary suffering. Only then do these energies crystallize. Otherwise, they evaporate within minutes, replaced by your usual inner noise. Aim is not a wish. People wish for all sorts of things: happiness, enlightenment, success, peace. These wishes are soft as smoke. Aim is like an iron rod hammered into the ground. It does not move with your moods. It stays when you are tired, when you are bored, when you are tempted to abandon the work. Without such an aim, you will drift into pleasant dreams about awakening while continuing to live mechanically. You may ask, well, how do I find my aim? The answer is both simple and difficult. You do not invent it. You discover it by observing your life honestly, without pretending to be saint or sage. When you look deeply, you find something essential in you that has always been hungry, not for pleasure, not for praise, but for meaning, for coherence, for being. This hunger is older than your personality. It belongs to your essence. But essence is weak in you now. Personality rules, your borrowed opinions, your conditioned emotions, your copied gestures. Personality is loud, chatty, eager to display itself. Essence is quiet, shy, easily overshadowed. To hear essence, you must learn to distinguish its voice from the noise of personality. Essence speaks in simple phrases. I want truth. I want to be real. I want to know myself. It never flatters. It never demands admiration. It has no interest in being special. Its only interest is in growing. Your aim must serve essence, not personality. If personality chooses the aim, it will choose something glamorous. I will become a great mystic. I will attain a special state. I will be admired for my wisdom. These are traps. Aims formed in imagination collapse quickly, or they produce monsters. So begin with an aim so humble that your personality finds it almost embarrassing. Something like, I will learn to observe myself without lying, or I will increase the moments of self-remembering in my day, or I will not express unnecessary negativity. Such aims have power precisely because they are simple. They meet you where you are, not where you pretend to be. Once you choose an aim, you must protect it against your chief feature. Your chief feature is the particular mechanical habit that sabotages your efforts more than any other. It is the recurring theme of your inner life, the loop you cannot seem to break. For some, it is self-pride. For others, vanity. For others, laziness, fear, suspicion, sentimentality. If you want to know your chief feature, look at the moments when you fail repeatedly despite your highest intentions. In those moments, a certain pattern appears. That pattern is your jailer. Do not fight your chief feature directly. You will lose. Instead, observe it with ruthless honesty. Watch how it enters, what it promises, how it disguises itself. See how it uses your energy, your attention, your emotions. The more clearly you see it, the less blindly you obey it. Little by little, this weakens its power and strengthens your being. This brings us to a deeper distinction: personality and essence. Personality is everything you have acquired: language, culture, preferences, traumas, beliefs. Essence is what you were born with, your raw potential, your innate direction, your original vibration. Essence can grow only through conscious effort and voluntary suffering. Personality grows by itself through imitation. Most adults are almost entirely personality with a tiny, stunted essence hidden underneath. They live in secondhand emotions, secondhand opinions, secondhand dreams. They want what others want. They fear what others fear. They love what others love. Their life is a chain of reactions borrowed from the environment. But if essence grows even a little, you begin to feel something new inside, something clean, strong, without pretense. You begin to act more from your own center, less from borrowed impulses. You speak more truthfully, even to yourself. You see others more impartially. You become less hypnotized by praise and insult. You stop performing all the time. Right now, attempt a small taste of essence. Drop for a moment every story about yourself, your identity, your biography, your roles, your memories. Let them fall away like clothing you set aside. What remains? A quiet awareness, a simple sensing of the body, a faint but unmistakable presence. This is the seed of essence. Do not expect fireworks from this. Essence grows the way a tree grows, silently, slowly, invisibly at first. Only much later does the change become noticeable. To reach a higher level of essence, you must work not in caves or monasteries, but in the midst of ordinary life. This is the fourth way. The monk works on the religious line, the yogi on the physical, the fakir on the will. But the fourth way works simultaneously on body, emotion, and mind. While you live your ordinary days, earn your living, speak with people, face your difficulties. It is the most demanding path because it allows no escape, no retreat, no special costume. You cannot hide from yourself in the fourth way. Your problems, your relationships, your mistakes, they are your laboratory. Your flaws are your teachers. Your distractions are your exercises. Your suffering becomes your fuel. Do not think you must first fix your life to begin the work. There is no better material than the life you have now. The work uses everything. Your fears, your laziness, your jealousy, your routines, your ambitions, everything can be transformed, but only if you stay awake long enough to sink. This is why the work can feel harsh. It gives no comfort, no promise of quick salvation. It demands sincerity. It demands effort. It demands that you question every automatic movement, every false statement, every flattering thought. It demands that you remain present even when it is unpleasant. But it also gives something priceless. The possibility of real life, not imagined life, not dramatic life, not mystical fantasy, but a life lived with consciousness, with coherence, with inner dignity. Now, as we approach the end of this stream, do not mistake this for a conclusion. There is no conclusion. The work can never be concluded. Each moment is either a beginning or a lapse into sleep. You stand at the edge of a possibility that will disappear the instant you forget yourself. Before this voice falls silent, make one last effort. Feel your whole body, your feet, legs, spine, chest, arms, face. Let it be one sensation. Hear the sounds around you. Notice your emotional tone. Notice your thoughts watching or resisting or agreeing. And in the middle, let there be the quiet flame of I am. Do not try to hold it tightly. Hold it as you would hold the hand of a child, firmly but gently. This flame is small now. It will go out many times. That does not matter. What matters is that you learn to light it again. There is no final awakening, no permanent state, no finish line. There is only the ongoing necessity of conscious work, never final, always beginning. You begin now, and you begin again, and you begin again. This is the verdict. Awaken, not once, but repeatedly. Do not seek comfort, seek clarity. Do not seek extraordinary experiences. Seek the simple fact of being present. Everything else follows from this. The work continues. The work waits for no one. The work begins each moment you remember yourself and ends each moment you fall asleep. Now see yourself. Now remember yourself. Now begin for a moment. Forget all your spiritual ideas, your books, your beliefs, your doubts. They are part of your sleep as well. Right now, there is only this, the sensation of your body, the sound of these words, and a faint, almost invisible witness that can see both. Let that witness step forward for a moment. Sense your chest from within, its rise and fall as you breathe. Do nothing to change your breathing. Just see it. And at the same time, hear my voice, two streams at once. If you can hold this even for 5 seconds, you have done more real work than in years of automatic spiritual thinking. You have been told that you must love, that you must be kind, that you must forgive. These are very high notes in the scale of being, but your instrument is out of tune. An untuned violin cannot play a symphony, no matter how pure the intention of the musician. So before you speak of love, begin with the humbler work, tuning, seeing the crookedness of your inner strings, the slackness, the rust. This is not pessimism. It is the first act of respect toward what you could become. In this work, we speak of notes. not musical notes in the air, but notes of vibration in your being. You imagine yourself already refined, already capable of lofty states, but most of your life is spent on the lowest note, raw life, animal impulses, habits. Call this crude base do, the first note. Here, everything is reaction. Pleasure sought, pain avoided, approval chased, disapproval feared. At this level, your body commands, your emotions flood, your thoughts justify, and you say, I. You listen now from this same do. You hope to be entertained, inspired, congratulated. You want to feel special, to be told you are already awake. I will not give you this. I speak to something deeper that feels the insult of its own sleep and is willing to pay for awakening. So the work begins with a shock, not a please. Mustn't one. Not a mystical vision, not a comforting sensation, but the shock of seeing that you are almost never present. Do not believe me. Verify. Right now, try a simple task. Without moving your eyes, be aware simultaneously of three things. First, the sensation of your right hand. Second, the sound of my voice. Third, the small movements of your breath in your nostrils or chest. Hold all three together, gently, without strain. 1, 2, 3. Notice how quickly one of them disappears. The hand fades. The breath is forgotten. The voice becomes background. In seconds, you are back in ordinary automatic listening or drifting elsewhere altogether. This failure is not a disgrace. It is a measurement. It shows the real strength of your present attention. You may feel you can be very attentive, that you focus well, but that impression is based on forgetting. The moment you measure it against reality, your belief collapses. This collapse is the first note struck consciously. Do begins with the recognition that you are on the first step, not the last. You are not invited to judge yourself for this. Judgment is another game of the sleep machine. One part beats another part, and both enjoy the drama. Instead of judgment, practice seeing, I am distracted. I am tense. I am daydreaming. I am imagining conversations, just facts. When you get up from where you sit after this, watch yourself, how you stand, how your weight shifts from one foot to another, how the eyes jump from object to object, how the hand reaches almost by itself to your device, your pocket, your hair. It is like watching an animal, a sincere, innocent animal, but not yet a conscious being. You have never truly met yourself. You have only been carried along as a passenger in this animal. Now understand something. The machine is not your enemy. The body, the emotions, the thoughts, they are the materials of the work. You cannot throw them away, and you do not need to. You must learn to observe them, to study their laws, to see in their repetition a certain mechanical music. From this observation will come the possibility of choice, of directing your energies rather than being dispersed by them. You have three main instruments: thinking, feeling, and moving instinctive function. Each speaks a different language. One lives in words and images, another in moods, sympathies, antipathies, the third in impulses, tensions, appetites. Look today, which one is loudest in you? Perhaps your thought never stops narrating and commenting. Perhaps a small emotional hurt colors your whole day. Perhaps the body's comfort or discomfort dictates everything. And yet, in their chaos, they use the same limited energy and leave you exhausted, scattered, confused. Again, do not theorize. Check. Right now, feel your spine from the base to the back of the neck as a vertical line inside the body. At the same time, notice the emotional taste of this moment. Perhaps curiosity, impatience, resistance, or a vague haze. At the same time, take note of the thoughts commenting on what you are hearing. For a second, see all three together: body, feeling, thought. This is not yet harmony, but it is already a beginning of order. You do not have to stop any of them. You only have to be present to them. This simple seeing is the first conscious note struck above your usual level. It is the first shock that can lift you from purely mechanical do to something a little finer. But be careful, your mind will now try to own this experience. It will say, yes, I understand, this is mindfulness, I have read about this. And with this, you lose it again. Understanding without sensation is only another dream. To protect yourself from this theft, always return to the body. It is your anchor. Sensation is the doorway. When you go to wash your hands, feel the temperature of the water as if for the first time. When you walk, notice the contact of your feet with the ground. When you speak, hear the sound of your own voice in your chest and throat. These are small acts of rebellion against the dictatorship of sleep. But observation alone is not enough. To wake, even for a moment, something else is needed, a division. Not the unconscious division that has you scattered, but a conscious division of attention. One part outward, one part inward. One part on the action, one part on the one who is aware of the action. This is called self-remembering. Listen carefully. Self-observation is seeing what happens in you. Self-remembering is sensing that you are here while it happens. One can observe like a scientist watching an experiment and still be absent in essence. But if you can, even imperfectly, have the taste, I am here seeing this, then a different kind of energy appears, and you are no longer entirely identified with the machine. Try it now. Sense the entire volume of your body from within, not only one point, not only the hands or the breath, the whole mass, as if your skin were a boundary and inside it is filled with a subtle warmth or presence. At the same time, continue listening. There is your outer world, this voice, this room, these objects. There is your inner world, tensions, sensations, faint emotional color, thought movement. Between them, in the middle, let there be a silent witness that says, not in words, but in being, I am. In the beginning, this I am is fragile, thin as a hair, quickly broken. You glimpse it and then lose it in the next thought. You taste it for a moment, then find yourself lost in a memory, an image, an argument. Do not be discouraged. You are not failing more than others. You are merely beginning to see your actual state. Ordinarily, your attention is like water spilled on the floor, flowing wherever there is a slope. A sound, and you are dragged there. A thought appears, and you are already chasing it. A feeling stirs, and you are lost inside its fog. Self-remembering is the attempt to gather some of this spilled water into a cup. The cup is the sense of your own presence. Without the cup, the water cannot be carried upward. Do not imagine this as something grand. It is as simple and as difficult as this. While you drink a glass of water, you feel the contact of the glass in your hand, the coolness in your mouth, and at the same time, you know yourself as the one who is drinking. While you speak to a person, you feel your feet on the ground, your chest, your face, and at the same time, you register silently, I am here speaking. This double attention changes the quality of every experience, however ordinary. But to come to this, you must first pay in small coins, moments of naked self-observation, seeing the ridiculous mechanicalness of your life without turning away. Watch yourself arguing internally with someone who is not present. Watch yourself fantasizing an imagined future. Watch your posture as you walk past a reflective surface. Watch how your voice changes depending on who is in front of you. If you are honest, what you see will not be flattering. Good. This disillusionment is a necessary medicine. A man who believes he is already noble cannot become noble. Right now, notice how much of you is waiting for the big secret, the important technique, and the mystical revelation. That impatient one leaning forward inside is also mechanical. It has been trained by a lifetime of entertainment, lectures, promises. It wants a shortcut that costs nothing. This work has no such promises. What is given is a direction, an instrument, and tasks. The rest is your effort. So begin again, more simply. Feel the contact of your feet with the ground or the surface beneath them. Really feel it, do not imagine. At the same time, feel your right hand from within. Not an image of your hand, it's actual inner sensation. Now add the sound of my voice, 3 things again. When you lose one, gently come back. Do not strain. Strain belongs to the same machine that daydreams. This is not about clenching your will. It is about quietly redirecting attention again and again. You will notice something curious. The moment you are even a little present, your usual inner chatter becomes more visible and slightly more distant. You hear it like a radio playing in the next room. The insults, the complaints, the justifications, the anxieties They continue, but they no longer fully engulf you. This small distance is the beginning of freedom. The thoughts do not stop immediately. This is not necessary. What changes is your identification with them. You begin to see that they are not you. They are one of the horses, not the driver. The same is true for emotions. A mood of irritation, sadness, or excitement arises. Ordinarily, you are swallowed by it and act from within it, believing it to be the whole truth. But if, at the moment of its appearance, you can remember yourself even dimly, then you experience a strange double state. I am irritated, and I see that I am irritated. If you can hold both together, the emotion slowly loses its tyranny. It still moves in you, but it does not move you entirely. This is not repression, it is seeing. In these small acts, another kind of energy begins to accumulate. Every moment of presence, however brief, leaves a trace. You do not feel it immediately, but later, in a difficult situation, you may find that something in you stands a little more still, reacts a little less blindly. Then you understand that no effort is wasted. Even the failed attempts, the moments when you tried and immediately fell asleep again are part of a long preparation. There will be times when you are deeply identified, caught in anger, in desire, in fear, and the idea of self-remembering will seem like a distant theory. In those moments, do not fight the emotion directly. Return to sensation. Feel your hands, feel your feet, feel your jaw, feel your breath. Do not try to change them. Let awareness come first. Change will follow. Sometimes a taste will come unexpectedly. You are walking on the street, and from nowhere you suddenly feel the whole body, the air touching your face, the ground supporting you, the sounds around you, and a quiet sense of being in the center of it all. For a second, the world is sharper, more real, and you feel more alive than usual. Then it passes. Do not sentimentalize such moments. Do not chase them. Take them as a reminder that something more is possible. You see, you have been trying all your life to change the content of your experience, different job, different partner, different city, different ideas. But the work is concerned with the quality of the experiencer. As you are now, whatever situation you enter will be colored by sleep, by identification, by mechanical reactions. If you do not change the way you are present, no external change will satisfy you for long. A new prison is still a prison, even with golden walls. So the first real aim is not to feel good, not to become peaceful, not to get rid of so-called negative states. The first aim is to wake up even a little, to see the fact of your sleep with such clarity that you can no longer be fully hypnotized by it. From this, a different kind of wish appears, not the wish for comfort, but the wish for being. This wish is rare, and it must be protected. The world around you, with its incessant invitations to distraction, will try to put it back to sleep. Remember yourself now, not as an idea, but as a sensation. Feel both hands, both feet, the line of your spine, the weight of the head on the neck. Let the breath flow naturally. Hear the sounds around you, not only this voice, but any background noise. In the midst of all this, place a silent affirmation inside. I am here. Do not say it out loud. Do not even form the words clearly. Let it be more like a flavor than a sentence. You will forget this again, perhaps in a few seconds, perhaps in a minute. Then the machine will take over. Old habits, old fantasies, old fears. When you notice that you have forgotten, do not condemn yourself. Simply begin again. This beginning again is the essence of work. The notes of your inner scale will not change in one day, but each time you interrupt a mechanical pattern by waking up for a moment, you slightly alter the tuning of your instrument. Understand that no one can awaken you permanently from the outside. A shock can come, a word, a situation, a crisis. But if it does not meet some active effort in you, it soon becomes just another memory. You are listening to these words now, but tomorrow they may be reduced to a vague impression. That was interesting, that was harsh, that was confusing. The work will not live in such opinions. It can live only in present attention, renewed again and again. So from this point on, while this voice continues and after it stops, your task is simple and it is immense. Observe, remember yourself, and see the truth of your mechanicalness without turning away. nothing grand, nothing theatrical. Just this, in small, frequent intervals, feel the body, hear the sounds, recognize your inner state, and in the middle, taste, however faintly, I am. If you wait for inspiration, you will remain asleep. If you wait for ideal conditions, you will remain asleep. If you wait until you understand everything, you will die asleep. Work must begin now, exactly as you are, in this imperfect state, with this restless mind, this impatient heart, this stiff or tired body. This is the material you have been given. It is enough. Do not ask yet what will come later, what higher notes, what transformations. For now, attend to this single fact. You can be a little more present than you were a moment ago. Not in fantasy, but in sensation. Not in theory, but in divided attention between the outer and the inner. You can strike a slightly different inner note, not by forcing, but by seeing. And now, once more, very simply, without any mysticism, without any special atmosphere, feel your left hand from within. At the same time, hear these words. At the same time, be aware that you are the one who is aware of both. Hold this as long as you can. When it breaks, begin again. Here in this small, invisible effort, real life begins. You are surprised to hear that real life begins with such a small effort. You imagine that something so important must be dramatic, must come with thunder, visions, some heavenly announcement. But great changes begin invisibly as a shift in direction too small for others to see. A ship that turns 1 degree in the open sea seems to go almost the same way, but after a long voyage, it arrives at a completely different shore. In the same way, a small but repeated act of self-remembering begins to bend the line of your life toward another world. To continue, we must look more precisely at what is in you now, not angels, not demons, but 3 main instruments: the thinking center, the feeling center, and the moving, instinctive center. You live among them like an absent landlord who has never inspected his own property. The thinking center speaks in words, images, concepts. It always wants to comment, explain, compare. It is clever, but it can talk while the house burns. The feeling center speaks in likes and dislikes, attraction and repulsion, joy, sadness, shame, envy. It colors everything and often runs ahead of fact. The moving, instinctive center lives in the body, in posture, breathing, habits of gesture, tensions, appetite, survival. Ordinarily, these 3 are not a team. They are 3 competing managers with no common aim. One wants to rest, another wants excitement, another wants food. And all at the same time, you say, I, but which one is speaking? This confusion drains your energy and keeps you at the lowest notes of your near scale. Right now, make a small survey. First, without moving, notice your body, the way it is positioned, the small muscular efforts keeping it there, the places of pressure, the points of tension. This is a glimpse of the moving instinctive center. Then notice your emotional taste in this moment. Is there doubt, interest, annoyance, a faint boredom, curiosity? Do not justify it. Do not push it away. Just see. This is a glimpse of the feeling center. Finally, notice the chain of thoughts moving now, reactions to what is being said, associations, images, comparisons. This is a glimpse of the thinking center. For a moment, try to hold all 3 together in your attention: body, feeling, thought. Do nothing to fix them. Let them be exactly as they are, and just look. Even a short moment of such seeing is unusual for you. Most of the time, you are swallowed by one center and forget the others exist. When the thinking center dominates, you live in your head, cut off from your actual condition. You understand everything and embody nothing. You speak of love and cannot look kindly at the cashier. You read about awareness and stumble over your own feet. You analyze your emotions instead of feeling them. You theorize your body instead of inhabiting it. When the feeling center dominates, you are jerked up and down by moods. A small praise and you are high. A small criticism and you are crushed. You call this intuition or being sensitive, but it is usually just reactivity. In this state, you cannot see facts. You see only whether something is pleasant or painful, flattering or wounding. When the moving instinctive center dominates, you become a creature of comfort and discomfort. Food, sleep, physical safety, sexual impulse, the rut of routine, these govern your life. Your highest ideas are dragged along behind the body like decorations on a wagon. You have lived years like this, sometimes under one ruler, sometimes another, but never with a conscious king over all three. So you are divided. So your inner notes never rise beyond raw impulse and scattered emotion. To speak of higher states while this remains is like trying to build a cathedral on a swamp. We must see the actual condition, not condemn, not glorify. See, here is a task. As you listen, let part of your attention rest in your chest, sensing it from within, and part rest on the small muscles of your face. Without moving anything, just feel. At the same time, be aware of any emotion present and of the thoughts that react to these instructions. Perhaps a thought says, this is nonsense, or this is interesting, or I know this already. Do not argue. Include that thought in your observation. You will notice that to hold even this simple division of attention is difficult. One center grabs the attention, and the others are lost. The body fades when the mind becomes active. Feeling disappears when you focus on details. Thought becomes vague when the body's sensations grow strong. Your attention is not yet strong enough to embrace all three clearly, but each attempt is like a small exercise for a weak muscle. Do not expect perfection, expect difficulty, ECT failure, expect boredom. These are your training weights. The purpose is to begin creating a certain inner alignment, a hint of cooperation. Think of a chord played on an instrument. 3 notes sounded together form something greater than each alone. In the same way, if the 3 centers can be brought into a single act of attention, a new quality appears, a quality you can taste but not yet define. Something in you becomes more real. At rare moments in life, you have experienced this unity without understanding it. A crisis comes, a shock, and suddenly you are entirely present, body alert, feelings intense but clear, thoughts sharp. Time seems different, wider, slower. For a short while you are more alive. Then the event passes, the old mechanicalness returns, and you long for that state without knowing how to invite it again. What came by accident then must now be approached deliberately through the harmonizing of the 3 centers. As this work continues, you begin to meet something in yourself that is not exactly thought, not exactly feeling, not exactly sensation, but a blending of all 3. This something has a particular flavor, a quiet, painful clarity. It does not flatter you. It does not comfort you. It watches you lie, pose, pretend, and it does not look away. This is the beginning of what can be called conscience. Not conscience as you learned from school or church or parents. Those are layers of conditioning, rules, and fears. True conscience is deeper, older. It is like a buried organ covered over by accidental morals and mechanical habits. When it awakens even a little, it sees the contradiction between what you are and what you could be. And this seeing hurts. You have spent much of your life building elaborate methods to avoid this pain. Justifications, stories, spiritual theories, comparisons with people worse than you. You call this self-acceptance or realism, but it is mostly a way to put conscience back to sleep. You choose your teachers, your beliefs, your communities according to how well they protect you from this inner discomfort. But in this work, real conscience is precious. Its pain is medicinal. It is the fire that can temper your metal. Without it, you remain pleased with illusions and unwilling to pay the price for change. Look honestly now at one simple thing. Notice how often you say one thing and do another. You promise yourself to wake up early, to waste less time, to speak less harshly, to eat more consciously, and you break these promises repeatedly. You forgive yourself easily, or you punish yourself theatrically and then repeat the pattern. Both are ways to avoid the deeper question, who is this that promises and who is this that betrays? If you let yourself feel the weight of these broken inner promises without excuse, a quiet shame appears. Not the noisy shame that cries, I am terrible, but a sober recognition, I am unreliable to myself. If you do not run away from this, if you do not drown it in distraction, this recognition becomes a seed of conscience. Right now, allow yourself a small taste of this. Recall one simple Eason promise you broke to yourself. Perhaps you vowed to stop a certain habit, to call someone, to practice something. Feel it in the body. Where do you sense the discomfort? In the chest, in the stomach, in the throat? Stay with the sensation. Do not dramatize it. Do not justify. Do not turn away. Let the discomfort be there. You will notice that part of you wants to escape immediately by explanation, by self-criticism, by thinking of something else. Resist the escape for a few moments. This resistance is not against yourself. It is for yourself. It is a tiny act of bravery, remaining present while conscience whispers, you are not yet what you pretend to be. In this way, pain becomes useful. You have tried to build your life around avoiding discomfort. You seek pleasant states, easy affirmations, gentle teachings, but nothing real grows in soil that is never disturbed. You are like a farmer who wants a harvest but refuses to plow the field. Conscience plows. It cuts through the hardened layers of self-image. It breaks apart the ground where lies and pretenses have grown. It hurts, but it prepares. Through this, deeper understanding and genuine will can find roots. However, the awakening of conscience alone is not enough.